Come here. Come here.
Hey, this is Miko Hughes from Pet Sematary and Wes Craven's New Nightmare. You're watching Death Curse Society. Is that okay?
That's it.
No fair. No fair, no fair.
Rock and roll!
Just in the middle of a dream. I was kissing Valentino by a crystal blue Italian stream. But I can't be late, cause then I guess I just won't get paid. These are the days when you wish your bed was already made. It's just an automatic Monday. It was Sunday, 'cause that's my fun day. I don't have to run day. It's just an automatic Monday. I wish it was Sunday, 'cause that's my fun day. It's just an automatic Monday.
Welcome to another Death Curse Society's Monday Maniacs, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Red Crank. I got Zigzag. I got the Colonel. What's up, guys?
What up? I don't know why, but you can ask Zag. He's seen my reaction. Every time Gage trips and hits his head on the fucking wall, I lose it. I've been losing that shit, losing my mind, laughing my ass off since I was like 8. The first time I've seen this shit. It never fails to be fun.
I love that bit. That's why I left it in at the end.
We achieved jiggling Colonel there in the intro when we were just, it was, he lost it, man, right away. Fantastic.
Wish we could have shared that, but no.
Yeah.
Nope.
I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it. Yep, gang, we are going to be talking about The Boogeyman, which is in theaters right meow, and you can go and check it out after the show, of course, or, later, tomorrow, if you want. Already scared of about 20 million in the worldwide box office. Pretty happy about that. It's based on a Stephen King book from Night Shift. If you don't have this collection of short stories, then go find it.
It's a nice hardcover. See, I remember the softcover one that had the hand and it's wrapped in gauze, and as it was coming off, there's eyes all in the fucking hand. That shit gave me some phobias when I was a kid. I'm
pretty sure this is a first edition because I used to go searching all the used bookstores for first editions back in the day, and that was when I got that one. So.
What do you mean used to?
I just did that recently.
See, that's crazy because the one I have is a totally different cover. It's a guy in a doctor's room bent over a fucking table, and there's a doctor pulling a fucking latex glove up like this.
That's a different book.
Oh, it's called Night Shit, not Night Shift.
Yeah, that's a different book. Yeah.
Sorry, that's right.
Yeah. I didn't know where he was going with that at first, but I figured it out real quick.
Speaking of which, have you guys got checked? I know you're close.
Okay, now leave me alone. All right, we gotta take care of the real business first before our guest jumps in, because besides talking about the Boogeyman, we're gonna have the director himself in here in just a little bit, Mr. Rob Savage. I'm really looking forward to that. I've enjoyed most of his other films, including Host, which was our #1 film of 2020, and also Dashcam, which we watched both of those last night with our members, which was kind of interesting, kind of fun for us at least. I hadn't seen those movies in a while.
I absolutely, and for me watching Dashcam like that, I like that one, man. I really do. I mean, it's hard to say. I like it just, I don't know, almost as much as Host. I'm right there. It is that good. has a lot more gore in it. That's for fucking sure, man.
Definitely has a lot more gore. See, that's where I'm different. Host is really good. I can watch it multiple times. Dashcam for me is kind of one of those things. I probably won't watch it again unless someone says, I've never seen Dashcam. I'm like, God damn it, we're going to fucking watch it right now.
We're going to watch it.
You know what I haven't seen in a while? A movie with human feces involved. That's what I am requesting and need.
With corn.
With corn. Oh!
Yeah. I just thought of a mashup. We don't have time. I'll tell you after the interview. But I've got a great idea for a mashup.
Oh, shit.
Before we move on, folks, we need to thank our members, our final girls and guys, Chris, Lorena, Christy, Luke, Charles, Tanya, and Tyrone. And, of course, thanks to our Crazy Ralphs, Raymond, our camp counselors, Corey. Welcome back, Corey. Michigan Dave, S. Michael, Stacy Lynn, Orlando, Kiara, Canadian Dave, and JJ. Yes, I changed his name to JJ because it avoids the communication breakdown that we had over the last couple of months. So, thanks to all of you guys. And let's just jump right into it because it's time, folks. With no further ado, the writer-director of Host and Dashcam and the director of The Boogeyman in theaters right now. If you haven't gone to see this, go see it, man. It is Mr. Rob Savage. Rob, welcome to the show, man.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Welcome.
Doing well. Thank you for joining. See, I told you he's an Evil Dead 2 fan. Look right behind him.
I see that.
Who is an Evil Dead 2 fan? You shouldn't be having them on your show if they're not an Evil Dead 2 fan.
Right.
That's right. That's right.
Yes, we love it. Welcome, sir.
Yeah, I told Zigzag to grab his Evil Dead hat before the show this time because I knew you were an Evil Dead 2 fan from a previous interview I'd seen.
Necronomicon representative here. We got this.
Amazing, amazing. I like the Fog t-shirt as well. That's one of my favorites.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I actually just picked this up in Texas, and I'm wearing it because one of our other viewers just got it in Pasadena.
Yeah.
Somebody
just sent me something like John Carpenter's just directed a TV show from his couch.
Yes.
True.
Yes.
What a legend.
I think he's stealing ideas from you with Host.
I was going to say, like, I did that first. I was the pioneer of lazy filmmaking.
That's right. That's right.
If you do it like that, brilliant. You're fine. You're fine.
Absolutely. All right. Well, first off, I want to start with, can you tell us how you initially got involved in this project and how did you react when you were approached about directing a Stephen King adaptation? I imagine that would just be a dream for any horror filmmaker.
Yeah, I mean, it came off the back of Host. You know, Host blew up in this huge way that none of us expected. And immediately I was just offered like so many different scripts. So, you know, all these different horror production companies took note. And one of the scripts I got offered was Boogeyman, which was at the time written by Beck and Woods, who had done Quiet Place. So it was Stephen King, the writers of A Quiet Place, and this great title based on a short story that I remembered reading this short story in Night Shift back when I was, a terrified little kid, and I remembered how it messed me up back then, and I mean it's a daunting thing to enter into the pantheon of Stephen King movies, where so many great directors have trodden. But I remember reading the script and just feeling like I knew exactly what I could do with it and what it needed to be. And that version of the movie, the script that I read was very different from what we ended up putting on screen. But the kind of bones of it were there, and they'd found this kind of amazing way to adapt the short story, but then build it out into a something that earned a 90-minute runtime. Right. And Beck and Woods put it in a great way, which I'm just going to totally steal from them. They say our movie is kind of an adaptation of Stephen King's short story and a sequel to the short story,
right,
all wrapped up in one, which I think is a lovely way of putting it.
Yeah, and I like the way that's put. I saw that in a previous interview that you had done also, that you mentioned that too.
Yeah.
Now, the original short story, which I actually read again last night, only 12 pages, but encapsulates the meeting in Dr. Harper's office as Lester Billings is telling his horrific story of how he killed his children. Can you explain what wasn't working for you in the original script that you got and how you kind of helped reshape it by switching the protagonist from Dr. Harper to his kids, Sadie and Sawyer, and even made the children sisters, because I knew one was originally a boy.
Yeah. Well, the thing that originally struck me about the short story when I read it as a kid is it's very adult. It's, you know, it's about this very real world trauma. This guy who's, you know, whose first child at least has seemingly died a cot death, and it's you know, in the Lester Billings in the short story is this very nasty piece of work, you know, very reminiscent of a lot of those kind of early King characters.
Well, it's it's definitely a 70s story, and it's a kind of character you would not like in a modern day horror tale. So.
No. And the movie, you know, the short story, there's a reason he's like that, and the short story kind of breaks him down to the point where he's kind of willing to accept help from the therapist, and then, you know, anyone who's read the short story knows how well that goes for him. But the adaptation, Beckenwood's take on it was much more like in the world of adults. It followed Will Harper, who was the dad and the therapist, and it felt like we were doing two things with this movie. We had to honor Stephen King's short story. This was Stephen King's The Boogeyman, but it's also The Boogeyman. You've got to try and make the definitive, most terrifying version of that character. And
there's barrels of Boogeyman movies out there. So yes, this is a challenge, right, in itself, to make something stand apart from all of those. And and I think you nailed it, man.
So yeah, I mean that was the thing. It's like a younger audience is going to come to this movie not knowing the short story, knowing the Boogeyman, or, you know, the kind of concept of the Boogeyman, and so it felt like, in order to honor both of those things, we needed to have younger protagonists. We needed to have at least one of our kind of central protagonists be about the age that you first experience the Boogeyman. You know, the idea that there's something lurking in the darkness, and that this was kind of almost about. This was about taking those familiar things that you're first scared of as a kid. It's the dark basement. It's under your bed. It's in the closet. Taking these things that that we've outgrown and making them terrifying again, you know, and using King's story almost as like a springboard into that.
Okay. Colonel, you got a question you want to jump in?
Yeah, just kind of speaking about the characters. This movie hit home for me quite a bit. So I'm a single father raising two girls by myself that are about the same age difference as, you know. So it was like, wow, this like movie really hit home. I want to get along the little technical aspect. I love the lighting of this film. I have bright rooms, but every corner is so dark.
Yeah.
Like, how did you go about doing that through the daytime scenes? Because, like I said, it's brilliant lighting throughout the whole movie.
Yeah. Well, I got to shout out Eli Bourne, who's our amazing cinematographer. One of the references that I gave him was this movie, The Innocents, which is my favorite haunted house movie from 1962. And they do great things with like keeping a lot of darkness in the frame, even though it's, you know, there's daylight streaming through the windows. There's always areas of darkness in the frame, so you're always on edge. And it was really one of the benefits of having a bit more budget on this movie. We were able to actually build the houses, so everything in the movie is a set pretty much. And so I was able to consult with Eli and consult with Jeremy Woodward, our production designer, to make sure that we had these practical lamps and things like little sources of light within the room. But the room was designed and the lighting was designed in such a way that there was always drop off and there was always these kind of shadowy realms for the creature to exist in. And, you know, I was looking really at haunted house movies rather than monster movies. And one of the things that I was trying to do, you know, in the same way that like in Jaws, it's the fin above the water, and then, you know, you don't need to see the rest of the shark. I wanted that to be the darkness with the Boogeyman. So, you know, a lot of the time in the first half of the movie, it's just these kind of cat's eyes staring at you from the dark, or you catch a glimpse of a limb disappearing into the darkness. And so, you know, I wanted the audience to feel like every time there was darkness in the frame, the Boogeyman was there. Even if he's not, even if he doesn't jump out, there was something for you to be looking into, some darkness to stare into.
No, it was brilliant because, I was looking in those shadows the entire time. Like,
thank you.
There. I know he's there. It was great.
Well, while we're talking about the cinematography, I wanted to ask you one thing, because one of the things I noticed about the cinematography was a lot of the film featured very smooth and guided camera work. Yes. But when Sadie was dealing with an emotional or frightening scene, the camera switched to more of a handheld and unsteady kind of sort.
Yeah.
Can you explain your reasoning in separating her character in that manner visually? Was that just to show her emotionally unstable self through the lens?
Yeah, I think her world is falling apart throughout the movie. I mean, it's an you know, her father exists in the world of the rational, so everything, you know, his office, the house, like everything is like very squared off and rational and robust, and the way that we shoot his stuff is very you know, it's very much in that style, and the camera moves in this very glacial way, and in the same way. You know, Sawyer, the youngest, her world is very solid. She believes in monsters. When there's a monster that runs out and runs under her bed, it's confirming something she already knows. She's already, you know, believing in these kind of things. Whereas Sadie she's grown out of those childish beliefs, but she's not quite like a fully, you know, she's not quite fully in the world of adulthood. And so her world is crumbling and splintering around her. And so when she starts to, when her worldview starts to kind of shift and she starts to believe in some of these things that her kid sister is talking about, I wanted to feel like her very foundation was becoming unstabilized. Like she was there with her friends, and that's a very precarious situation. And as you know, as she's starting to have this realization that, oh, it's all real, she's still having to kind of you know, smile and nod and say, no, I'm fine, and try and kind of grasp onto some stability in her friend group. But I was trying to represent that with the handheld and that feeling of disorientation around her.
Okay. All right, Ziggy, jump in there.
Yeah, something I've noticed in your style of filmmaking, from Host to Dashcam to the Boogeyman, is your timing of the jump scare. You have a way, and you see them coming a mile away, but they still hit you like a fucking truck every time. Was this thought out? How do you come to this, and where you can deliver like that when you can see it? Oh, there it is. It still gets you 100% every time.
I think it's just knowing and loving horror. You know, I know where every scare is going to come from in every horror movie I watch. I can see the foundations being laid, and so like I have a lot of fun trying to get ahead of what horror fans are expecting and the rhythm that they're expecting, and I know that they're going to see what I've got coming, but I'm going to deliver it in a way that's slightly different. And you know, there's always moments in horror movies where, you know, people like us can watch it and we know when it's okay to check our phone. We know, and then, you know, so there's a scene in this movie where there's a pretty big daytime scare that happens right in the middle of a scene. And it's meant to be one of those moments where you as an audience member think you can drop your guard a little. And it's, you know, James Wan has a thing where he talks about, you know, not the normal rhythm of a scare is 1, 2, 3, and you do the jump on 3. And he said, you know, my career is basically making the audience wait until 7 or 8. And that's it. We've got some scares in this movie that happen on 1. There's no build up. And some scares we try and stretch it all the way to 10.
Oh, I jostled my popcorn more than once today.
Woo! Yeah, and I love the reaction this is, because I've now seen it twice in the theater, and I love the reaction that this is getting with audience members. It's one of the first times in a long time that I've seen the majority of the theater actually react, which is nice. So
no, it's designed that way. It's designed to be a big screen popcorn horror movie. It's a PG-13, so it's open to a wider audience, and it's really meant to be about as far as you can push a PG-13. And we want those big reactions. You want to feel like, you know, the bar goes down and you're on a roller coaster from the moment it starts.
Right. Well, and you can't fault the timing of a good jump scare. Okay, that's enough. We left that in there from a previous episode, and I saw it, and I was like, I'm going to use that at some point.
Yeah. I don't show it on the outside.
Well, I'm not a Hollywood director yet either, so, you know, give me time. I could have timed it a little better. I know we talked briefly about this, but I love the fact that you did switch the protagonist from the dad to the daughters, because to me that makes the stakes so much higher in a film, especially when children are their focus. And most of the time, the key to solidifying a film like this is finding young actors such as Sophie Thatcher and Vivian Lyra Blair. By the way, happy birthday to Vivian.
Yes.
That was yesterday. For those lead roles. When casting this, did you know what you were looking for from the actors? And how did Sophie and Vivian stand out to you where you said, these two are sisters, this is the one, or the two?
I think with with Sophie, I didn't know specifically what I was looking for, but it's the kind of thing that you know it when you see it, because that person's really got to carry the whole movie on their shoulders. It's got to be somebody who can take you through a lot of the nuts and bolts stuff in a way that's compelling and likable, and that you want to invest in that character. It's also somebody who's going to bring, a kind of weight to that performance, because they've got to go to a lot of very intense places, and Sophie was every single day having to push herself to these emotional extremes. And the thing that sold me on Sophie, not that I needed selling, but I jumped on a Zoom with her the first time. I hadn't really seen any of Yellow Jackets. I watched one episode, a little bit of an episode before we jumped on, but I came on and I was wearing a T-shirt for Possession, the Andrzej Zawadzki movie, and she immediately spotted it and said, "Oh, I love Possession." And then, we were talking about these weird art house horror movies. She's such a huge horror fan. And so with her, it was like, one, she's a fantastic actor. She's a likable presence. She understood the character, she understood what she needed to bring and the level she needed to bring to it. But at the same time, she's doing a lot of stuff where she's walking down a hallway, following a strange noise, or she's reaching out slowly to open a closet door. And she understood the pacing and the requirements of the horror genre and how to sell that and how to make that believable. And so we were working in partnership to make these scenes happen. It wasn't, oh, trust me, this will be scary when we cut it together. She understood her part in building these scares, which was essential. And then Vivian, I knew that this character needed to be the beating heart of this movie. It needed to be somebody who had a real personality, a real sense of humor, somebody that would bring a lot of themselves to the role. And from the first Zoom call with Vivian, it was clear that she's just an exceptional human being. And she was 9 years old when we shot this, and she is a 9-year-old. She's got this amazing sense of play, but she's also amazingly kind of wise and intelligent and emotionally intelligent, and amazing ability to dial in her performance in a way that a seasoned actor would be able to. And so I just wanted to capture a bit of her personality on screen, because she a lot of the funniest, a lot of my favorite moments in this movie, it was her riffing, it was her improvising, it was us playing around with the scene. It wasn't necessarily in the script, it was the way she delivered a line, which you wouldn't expect. So we got a lot of her in the DNA of this movie, which I love so much.
Nice. I have a theory that child actors and younger actors have just gotten better over time, from 70s and 80s child actors to now. And I would love to pick your brain at some point about why do you think that is, or a lot of directors' brains, why do you think that is? But I want to throw it to Ziggy for another question, because I know he had one.
I did. With the CGI, with the creature, itself, was there any ever discussions? Did you ever have any meetings to go practical, or some of it practical at all? I mean, this is one thing I heard people saying, the CGI again, but I can tell it doesn't matter if it's CGI, they're not going to like it. I think this one's pretty good. It's definitely scary, but I was just curious, was there ever any discussion to go the practical route with it?
Yeah, I wanted to go practical. I think ultimately the things that this creature has to do and the kind of way it has to move and the speed and agility and the crawling on the ceilings, there would have always been quite a hefty CG portion. One of the things that I was pushing for was partial practical, so having hands or feet and practical, and then kind of building it out. The honest truth is we just ran out of time, because it took so long to hit upon the perfect design for this creature that we were about a week or 2 weeks out of shooting, so we didn't have time to build the creature suit. But what we did do, which is why a large part of why the effects look so good, is we printed a 3D creature head. Actually, wait, I've got it here on my shelf. We printed a 3D creature head. This guy. And then we were able to have that on set. Eli was able to light it, and so we could send that then to the VFX people and say, well, look, this is what a real creature head looks like in the real space with the real light bouncing off it. So they had that as a reference. And if it didn't look as good as that or as real as that, I could kick it back and say, no, it's got to look at least as good as that.
Nice.
Thank
All
goodness.
right.
It's great. It's great.
Oh yeah. The creature effect is great.
All right,
Colonel?
I'll be honest. It's going to be hard to follow up that question. And I'm trying to think how to word this without any spoilers. I'm a huge fan of your previous work.
Yes.
How difficult was it to get those Easter eggs in the movie? Because I was literally in a theater. I did the Leonardo DiCaprio meme where I was like,
You know what? It was the first thing that I shot. I shot it one evening, glass of wine. Me and that person who I won't spoil, we shot it remotely, and they were totally for it. And it was kind of my way of saying, this is as much my movie as both of those two. You know, both of those two movies, I made it with a small crew, with no money, complete control. This one, like, I didn't have those same controls, but it felt like I did. It never got to the point where I was railroaded on anything that I disagreed with in the studio. It always went my way. I was always able to get the movie that I wanted on screen. And so that was just a little nudge to the audience that this is in the same world. This is one of three with those movies. You know, it's been 3 years, 3 movies. Nice. And even though this one's on a much bigger canvas, it's still, it comes from the same place, you know.
Oh, it's obvious. It's got the Rob Savage feel to it.
Well, I'm really glad.
Yeah, man. No bullshit. I mean, with Host when that came out, we made that our #1 movie that year out of all everything that came out. Absolutely.
And we all agreed on it, which is weird for us.
Yeah.
Oh, I really appreciate that.
Big time.
Yeah, Host blew me away. I've probably watched it at least a dozen times since 2020. Absolutely love it.
Thank you. I'm super proud of that one. So that means a lot.
I mean, everything that was going on, using that technology the way you did, and I'd love to hear the setup of the joke that led to that too. But I mean, and the fact that you're wearing earbuds while watching this movie, I mean, there was nowhere to go, no escape, and I got blown back in my chair a couple of times in that one, and I love it. It's definitely one of my all times, man.
Yeah, it's the only movie I think in history where the director wants you to watch it on your laptop.
Very, very few want you to do that. That's for sure. Yeah. I heard you say at one point you had a stack of DVDs in the office that just played on a loop for inspiration for the rest of the crew. What are some of those films that are in that stack?
Oh, what was on there? So I had Satan's Slaves, the Yoko Anwar movie, Yoko Anwar, which is great. I had The Changeling was a big one that was on rotation. There was a movie I was referencing a lot for the kind of balance of like great meaty performance, the way it deals with loss, and then just incredible scares. And you know, anyone who's seen both of those movies know that rolling a ball down a hallway and a set of stairs plays into both of them. So that was the origin of some of our ball gags in that. I'd Let the Right One In and also Let Me In, which was a big reference for the visuals. And then God, all sorts. I had all of James Wan's Conjuring movies. I had Dead Silence as well. Yeah, I kind of all sorts, and then a lot of like haunted house movies as well. So I had Poltergeist. I had The Innocents and The Haunting were big ones that we were watching. A lot of those kind of old haunted house movies, and then also the Paranormal Activity movies as well.
Really? Okay.
Even though they were found footage, like I wanted that sense of making your house unsafe and unsettling, and making that the kind of the battleground for something demonic. And those movies, especially the first one, do that so well.
I was gonna say that first one
destabilizing.
Definitely broke some doors down. First Paranormal, that was hair standing up on your neck and shit. That was crazy.
Yeah, it's been a while since something's done that to me.
I would say fucking Host.
I think you did it to us.
I would
so
say
that's the good thing.
I would say Host.
Well, I'm trying to watch the clock for us because I know we only got you for a limited time, but I do want to finish with this. What's next for Rob Savage? Are you still locked into the 3-picture deal with Blumhouse? And what can you tell us about Night of the Ghoul or See Home? Or even, have you spoken to Stephen King yet about doing the Langoliers?
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, I've been messaging with Steve, and the first thing, the first email that he sent me was he very kindly said, I'd love to find something else to do together, and I've been wanting to do an adaptation of The Langoliers for the longest time.
It needs one.
So I pitched that to him, and he seemed really excited by it. So we're trying to unpick the rights for that, and whether it'll happen or not, I don't know. But I've got a great, really exciting take on that I hope happens. And then what else? There's another kind of like demonic monster movie that I'm working on that's based on one of my short films called Salt, which has got an incredible script and is really unlike anything I've seen in the horror space for a long time. So that one is ready to go, and I'm hoping that one gets going soon. We've got a really, really cool idea for Boogeyman 2, if the numbers make sense on that. Which
I was going to say, considering how we're left with that one, and by the way, nice nod to the novel there, man, at the end.
Thank you.
Yeah, I like that little twist you did with the short story.
I was going, oh
ending.
shit, here we go,
Right.
Yeah, man. Yeah, go ahead, please.
No, so that's it's probably the idea that we've got that I'm really excited about. The studio's excited about it. Mark Heyman, the writer of this movie, we've come up with this great idea, which even if it wasn't in the Boogeyman universe, I would be so excited to tell this story, because it's such a new mode of horror that I've never tried before. It's something I've wanted to do for a long time, and it builds on and deepens the mythology of this movie. And if the film gods deem it so, we might be making that. And then Night of the Ghoul, we've got a draft of that came in just before the writers' strike. That's really strong. Mark Heyman is writing that as well.
Nice.
That's what can I tell you about that? That's an adaptation of a fantastic comic. We've kind of taken it off in our own direction, but it's really creepy and scary. It's kind of our version of a cursed object movie. It's my version of The Ring, but with a nasty creature in it.
Very nice.
That was.
Well, man, Rob, I can't thank you enough for joining us tonight, and I hope we kept it to the time as much as we could. I want to shout out to Mia and Greg at DDR for helping us hook this up.
Thank you.
And good luck on the film, man. And
keep forging the path, brother, because you're carving your way to carte blanche in this industry. You're going to be able to do what you want, man. You're on your way.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're on my list, definitely, of directors to watch more of now. So I can't wait for the next one. So
looking forward to it.
Thanks so much, guys.
All right. Well, have a good one. We'll see you next time, hopefully.
See you on the next one.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
All right. Wow, there he goes.
Rob Savage, ladies and gentlemen.
He's a A-list Hollywood director now, man. You know what I'm saying? 38 minutes, I'll take it.
10 of that. Yeah. 12 of that was prep or pre-show. But,
sure.
And guys, in the comments, I did see a couple of good questions in there, and I'm sorry I didn't get to them, but we had limited time. I wish I could have 2 hours like we do with some of our guests, but they were like 20 minutes, no more. No, and I was like, all right.
It just sucks because I had so many questions.
Oh, dude,
I got just the Boogeyman. It's like
I got 2 fucking pages, man, and this is just Boogeyman. If I had gone into the rest of his films, I could have had like 4 pages.
I touched on everything, but just a little bit of each one. I wanted to make sure we mentioned Dashcam, at least the jump scare thing, the timing. I wanted to make sure and get that. So for what we had, I think we did okay.
Right.
That's still good. That was good.
Yep.
Well, hopefully, if Mia and Greg were watching, if you have any other clients that need to push a horror project, bring them our way. We'll keep it to 20-ish minutes.
We play ball. We're the good ones.
I'm proud of you because you really did. I think we only went over by like 3-4 minutes. Like, that's not bad.
I asked him the last question as the clock went over to the 20.
Mm-hmm.
But
that's why I was keeping my mouth shut, just let him talk, because I knew we were at the end. It's like, okay.
Cool guy.
I literally was watching the numbers go from when he came in, and I was like, all right, I've got that. And that's why I was like, I think I kind of stepped on one of your toes. I can't remember who, but I was just like, all right, we got one more question, because I wanted to get it in before that clock was over.
Yeah, I was finished with what I was saying. It was fine.
All right. So, okay. Yep. Sorry, Rosie. The jump scare got you.
I think
I saw that happen too, and I was just like, yes. Maybe I do have the timing, Mr. Hollywood director Rob Savage. Because Tarek was laughing at it, and Dave says, "Bastard." All right there in a good succession.
Yeah, it's not bad, And now
yes,
we get to do. Oh.
Yes, we get to do the review. I want to hit some of these comments, though. Rob mentioned pushing the PG-13 right to the line, which instantly makes me curious. Where is that one requisite fuck, and who gets the line?
I have a pretty good idea
There's
where
a couple, I think.
It's there. No, there's only one.
Just one.
It's there, though.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And, yep. Hold on, word. FaZe is moving right now, so he says, "Woo, fellas, coming at you from a public library."
Hey, free Wi-Fi.
That's right. Corey's here. What's up, Corey? He says, "Ziggy, please watch The Devil's Honey."
The Devil's Honey.
I'm going to put that
ever
on my
since
list,
I
too.
brought that boarding house out, man, everyone's trying to get me with these fucking terrible movies. But yes, I've heard of that. I'll watch it. No problem.
That's why you have to keep the terrible movies to yourself.
No, you're owed one. You just got crank with that. What did you get? What did you make him watch?
The full moon. Head of the family, yeah. Fuck you. Head of the family.
You're going to watch Head of the Family, man.
I did. There's Joseph. He says, nice taste in shirts, Crank. That's right. He and I got the same shirt. Well, I got mine in Texas, and he got his in Pasadena. But, hey, that's the way it works. There's Rick. Rick says, great fucking flick. Me and Ricky really dug it. Rick, you know what was even better than seeing the Boogeyman twice this weekend?
Dude.
Was following your adventures at Camp Nobi Bosco.
Those people over there that put that event on. I mean,
Nobi Scobo, excuse me.
You guys are all right, man. Got a lifelong past in the DCS world. We love you, man. That was the coolest. And just look at the results.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Dude, I'm very happy for you guys. I'm glad you got to do that. Ricky looked great as part 2 Jason. I love that one shot where he's running through the woods and he actually does trip a little bit right before the camera cuts. I'm just like, yep, that's part 2 Jason. Jason kind of tripped and stumbled and was clumsy, so that was great.
We're hitting that event. If they have another one next year, I'm planning for that one.
Oh yeah.
We have to. We'll
be there,
dude. That looked fucking cool.
We gotta be there.
We gotta do that.
We're definitely going to do that at some point. Rosie had asked this question. This creature seems to be a metaphor for grief. One of the reasons why we didn't get into that on this is there are multiple interviews with him that go over that. So, and yes, he doesn't explicitly say it's a metaphor, but yeah, the creature is attracted to it. Yeah,
trauma and that kind of grief and this disarray in your life will bring the boogeyman.
Mm-hmm.
And he attaches to you too. It sucks.
Yeah. Carrie says, "Good morning from the UK, you lovely people. Do I detect an English accent?" You did.
You did.
Yes. I'm not sure where he was though, because it's sunny and bright where he was, so he may still be on the West Coast somewhere.
West Coast for sure.
Yeah. So,
although it is still light here where I'm at.
It's still light, but that was bright where he was.
Right.
Definitely not England.
Yeah, England's 5 hours ahead of us, man.
Right.
It would have been like 2 a.m. if he would have been, on at his regular time.
Well, yeah. But I thought maybe that was why they were only going to give us 20 minutes since it was that.
I just think he's probably hitting a couple of other outlets.
I think he's doing some more, yeah.
Yeah.
But probably not live, folks.
Not
live.
Woo!
Not getting asked the hard-hitting questions.
That's right. See?
If we had 25 minutes, I would be like, so Rob, what's your favorite dinosaur?
What's your favorite dinosaur, Rob?
That's the hard-hitting shit we ask around here at Death Curse Society.
I'm glad you didn't this time around. But
I didn't even cuss again. So fuck, shit, damn, cunt, ball,
fuck
damn.
you.
Get it all out. Get it all out.
I did. I got it all out. I'm good.
All right. Couple more comments.
Go. That's just who I am, though.
It's all good. One of us.
A couple more comments here. Joseph says, "Congratulations, you have so far made my favorite horror film of 2023. I think because you took time in letting the audience get to know who the family is. Very important. That by the time the horrific things started happening to them, we were all terrified. Excellent. Thank you. Wonderful performances for the entire cast. Going back next Friday just to hear the audience scream and yell back at the movie screen."
Yeah.
Yes.
That's something I wanted to get into too, was just the top to bottom strong acting of this film.
Well,
everybody carried it, man, and went above and beyond for those small as a cast as it is.
We're definitely going to get into that.
Oh, I know.
For sure.
They brought it up, and I was like, yes.
Yep. Joseph says, "Nice. You did a really nice job interviewing him. Very good interview." Rick says, "Great job, fellas." Yes, thank you, guys. Lorena says, "You made good use of that 20 minutes. Good job."
I know, man. I knew we were up against it, man. It's like beat the fucking clock. Oh, shit. I think we did okay, though. I think
so.
got a couple of. I know we got a couple out that he hasn't heard yet, at least from what I saw.
Yeah. Rosie says, "You've been getting stellar guests. Awesome. We have been kind of blessed with a little bit of luck, but also I'm a persistent fuck, man.
I don't know who David Cray's been booking lately, but I'm just saying. All right.
I am a persistent fuck when it comes to like contacting these people, and I think it's starting to actually pay off. And maybe, I don't know, maybe some of these people are actually starting to hear of us yet, or by now. So because it has gotten a little bit easier. So
I do think, they look at that page and it's like, oh, 6 years. Oh, okay, and it's helping.
Yeah.
We're not going anywhere, man.
Well, and the same way I did with Stacey Lee when she mentioned she had Amy and Adrian, like that was just opening the door, kind of like the Boogeyman, just a crack, and then I'm just like, bam, like Kool-Aid Man busting through, like, can we get him? Ooh, yeah.
He was lucky enough he didn't get the bear mace in the face this time.
Nope, not this time. Not this time.
Double.
Let's see here. Rick says that movie was only PG-13. Yes. Yeah. And
good.
Yeah, and the way it starts,
I think he pushed it as far as it could go.
Dude, he pushed it as far as it go on the Crank. The opening fucking scene.
The opening scene, Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty intense, pretty brutal. They come at you, but it just sets that tone. You're like, yeah, but man, there's a lot we need to learn about this.
There we go. Rick says, "Thanks, guys. You guys are awesome." No, you're awesome. And Ricky's awesome. Ricky's probably a little more awesome than you, but that's a different story.
Thanks for watching, man, and just being a part of it all. We love it.
Absolutely. All right, I'm trying to get... Oh, God. Yeah, Rosie, that would have been a question if we could have gotten to it. I would have asked him what it was like working with that actress in Dashcam. Did she improvise most of that craziness? Yes, I can actually answer that for you. Yes, she did. All that stuff in the car was 90% improvised. So...
It was annoying as fuck.
And annoying as shit. But they are friends, so...
She was believable too, though, as one of those podcasters. We've all heard that or seen that video in a reel or a TikTok. You've seen it, so I mean, you can absolutely relate to
that. Here's a glowing review. Carrie says, "You guys are a decent podcast, so everyone should go to you."
Well, thanks.
Thank you, Carrie.
Thank you, Carrie.
Yeah.
And Faye says, "Crank is a social butterfly, very likable, and he is indeed persistent as fuck. That combination is what lands these interviews for the most part."
Fucking asshole isn't likable. Don't let what he puts on screen fool you people.
Yeah.
All right. Rosie says her character was awful. Yes, she was. Before we watched that last night together, that was one of the things I told them, because at least one of them hadn't seen it. And I was just like, you are going to hate this character like 10 minutes in. She's the most detestable human being ever portrayed on film.
we didn't even get a chance to ask him about all the tweets that were rolling in Dashcam.
No.
That's the other thing we wanted to ask him too.
That's a movie in and of itself, just reading the tweets.
We were cracking up, man.
Those comments
Get in
were
there
fucking great.
at random too. You know, you just get you don't know what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
It's just so realistic, man. Like those were fucking comments you fucking see. Like it's fucking hilarious. Whoever they had to write those deserved a bigger check. I can tell you that right now.
Right.
Certainly entertaining.
Rick says, goes to show you don't need an R rating for scary. Exactly. And Joseph says it was PG-13, very little blood and gore. It was all classic chilling horror centered. I absolutely love this. Well, let's get into it, guys.
Yeah.
What were your preconceived notions of the Boogeyman, and did they meet or exceed or those notions? Colonel.
Definitely, nah. I'm just fucking with you. I went into this movie. I just knew it was a Rob Savage movie. I'm like, you know, as good as Host was, this movie's at least going to be fucking decent. I didn't watch any trailers unless I saw them on TV. I went in as blind as I fucking could. And I enjoyed this fucking ride that actually had me jump a few times along with the rest of the audience.
Yeah.
Just like Host or Dashcam, I saw it coming, except for the one he mentioned in the interview. That one caught me off guard.
Yeah.
But it met any expectation I would have had for his first major release.
Okay. How about you, Ziggy? Same question.
Yeah, honestly, I was a little scared after the first couple of opinions I heard was everyone bagging on the CGI monster, and I was just like, "Fuck, here we go again." However, I am a fan of Host and I am a fan of Dashcam, so when this guy has earned the right for me to go in and not feel that way, and I'm happy I did because this CGI is not. Although you can tell at times it is, dude, this shit is creepy, man. They did a pretty good design on it, and you wouldn't want to see that thing peering at you in the fucking shadows. That's for fucking sure.
Well, see here, I'm gonna get a little off topic. Here's what bugs me about these people that bitch about the CGI monster. That's so par for the fucking course now. I love practical effects just as much as the next guy. If I had to sacrifice practical effects for a monster, I'd rather have a CGI monster than practical effects and gore. The CGI monsters are just as scary, in my opinion.
Well, I think people got jaded with the Thing remake or sequel, whatever that was, and the story that when you see what they were working on and how fucking killer that looked with nothing on it, and compared to what they gave us, people are a little bit gun shy now, man. They're a little trippy. They don't. CGI is bad,
I get that, but dude, that was fucking like 12 years ago. Let it go.
Right.
Right on. Here we go. I was trying to say, dude, you did just enough to where it stays. It looks good. It looks really scary and pretty real. I mean, there's like a couple of times it's whipping around hallways. That's when you can notice it's a CGI kind of thing. But even then, it's still like, fuck. I wouldn't want to see that. You don't want to deal with that.
Yes. Well, I'll stick with the same question and just basically say obviously I'm a huge Stephen King fan. Everybody that watches this show knows this. And man, I know we've talked about our favorite adaptations in the past. This is probably going on that list, man, because this is a very good adaptation, like he said, plus expansion story. This one, like he said, serves as a retelling and a sequel at the same time, and that's kind of hard to do, and still keep it Stephen King-esque, if you will. And although also I want to say this, I love the fact that he's just like, oh yeah, Steve and I, we've been talking about, and I'm like, you son of a bitch, you just called one of the greatest fucking writers of our generation Steve. Oh yeah, look, yeah, yeah. So this one, I'll say it, actually went higher than my expectations for sure. So I'm really happy about that. And like I mentioned in the interview, I think tons of it has to do with Sophie Thatcher and Vivian Lyra Blair, the two female leads, child leads. Well, I guess one's 22, but young leads. Let's leave it at that. And their performances were fucking phenomenal. Ziggy, continue.
Yeah, they boy, she put through hell, man.
Yeah.
I mean, what they're doing in their lives, and this is just a bad run of fucking cards for these people, and you feel bad for them, you know. So you're really rooting for them when shit goes south, you know. And yeah, they are great. They act this thing perfect. It's scary, man. It's fucking scary. You've all been in a dark room as a kid and been afraid of the shit under your bed. I think we all have, and this exploits all those fears, and they're going to come knocking again. Believe it. And they carry it so good. And the burden is squarely on these two sisters, and they deliver. Big
right.
time. Yeah.
Yeah. Colonel, what about you?
Oh, no, I agree completely. Sophie and Vivian killed it in this movie, especially Sophie. I mean, she carried, not saying that the other bad, Vivian was just good, but Sophie, it all really fell on her shoulders to carry this film.
Mm-hmm.
And just, she did a phenomenal job in such range to go from complete heartbreak to pretty much mother in such a short amount of time. I mean, she absolutely nailed the role.
Yeah.
And Vivian was so likable, man. I wanted to play PlayStation with this kid. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like most kids. If they're not mine, it's hard for me to like them. I'm just one of those people. But man, she was a cool ass fucking kid. Like, and I was a little jealous of that moon ball. Like, I need to get one of those.
Yeah.
Dude, there's a great story how they came to that too. I may get into it here in a minute, but see, if you played PlayStation with Vivian though, she'd probably be on the microphone telling you, "Ha ha, get good, son."
Probably would. I hear enough of that in Call of Duty. Don't tell me that.
That's right. All right. See, Tarek says, as long as real effort was put into CGI, just like with practical effects, it's worthy. If it's crap CGI, it's the same as, yeah, that was ketchup. And Lorena says, I think the monster was done well. Rosie says the Babadook monster was CGI, and it was very creepy.
Okay. Well, the main argument, and me and Colonel will come at you with this, the Paul Bunyan from It Chapter 2.
Fucking terrible.
Worst of all.
And they had the
time.
budget. They had the budget.
Now, you're telling me they didn't have the time to put the effort into this fucking huge, monstrous scene? That was shit.
And it's a huge part of the book, too. Yeah. So
if this monster would have come across like that, we would be shitting on this movie right now.
Oh, we most definitely would, man. That fucking Paul Bunyan, don't get me fucking started. You guys know exactly what I said as soon as we walked out of the theater. What the fuck? Like, that fucking Paul Bunyan looked like some sci-fi original shit. Like, I was going the fuck off.
we were looking at each other in the theater like, really?
This is terrible, yeah, man.
But yeah, that was the first vocalization of it was Colonel as soon as the doors opened up. What the fuck was that?
Well, I'll just say this time you don't get to see much of this monster at all, really. But I mean, when you do, and they do it right, man, it's all of a sudden, and you don't have time to react to really focus in on the shit. You know, this looks good, and it's definitely for CGI. This is a scary creature. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I absolutely love the performances, though, by the two sisters, Sophie and Vivian. They, like you guys both mentioned, they carry the fucking movie, and it's difficult as a filmmaker to throw that on a 22-year-old and then a 9-year-old, you know, and say, you know, hey, you got to carry this movie for us. But they nailed it. They fucking nailed it.
Chemistry too.
The chemistry is great.
So. They're pros. That's what's so crazy. I mean, for being that young, shit.
Any other performances that really stood out to you? Because I'm going to call out, and I'm going to butcher his name, but I'm going to call out David Dasmalkian as Lester Billings, because since that was the only scene that was based on the real short story, you know, the real Stephen King part of this movie kind of fell on him. And like I mentioned with Rob, you know, the original short story, the character's not a likable person. He's, you know, abusive, kind of, he's a product of the 70s for sure. And I'm glad they switched this to somewhat a more sympathetic character that you could feel something for. Like, man, this guy's been through a lot. I kind of believe him, but he also had that darkness to him that he could turn on in a switch that made you think, well, maybe I should be a little worried about this guy. Were there any other performances besides his or like that stood out to you, Ziggy?
That's exactly where I was going to go. And that guy's popped up in movies.
He's in everything.
He's in everything. He's that guy, in our generation now, like the modern time. I would say The Dark Knight, he's the guy Harvey Dent is threatening at the end, and Batman has to stop him from doing the Russian roulette thing with him. Just a bunch of stuff. But, yeah, he really comes in and delivers that Stephen King vibe right from those 12 pages of that book.
Even just his appearance, like through that rippled glass door, and just...
You knew exactly what was coming.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this is good. So, yeah, I thought, that was just a small role, but perfect cast.
Yeah. Daniel says, the kids were amazing, and the father was likable. Yes, by Chris Messina. How about you, Colonel? You got another performance that you want to shout out?
No, I'm on this. I hate to say it, I'm on the same page as you guys. Because he really chewed up the fucking screen.
Yeah.
Then what little amount of time he had. He did such a great fucking job. Because you're right. You see that ripple when you just kind of see this fucking silhouette through the glass and his whole performance. He did a great job. Those three actors, I think, were the best in the film. They really were.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I did keep seeing him as Polka Dot or whatever he was in Suicide Squad. But that time, so I'm like, ugh.
Fair enough. Now, there was one character, and I think you mentioned it last night, Colonel, that you did not like. Was that the other friend that kept kind of harassing?
No, believe it or not, it was
Sadie?
The father.
Really? You don't like the dad?
Not his acting. His acting was fucking perfect. He played the character well.
Okay.
Me, as a dad, I know he said, he's in the realm of reality. I know he's grieving, and he's not handling his grief well at all.
Right.
But goddamn, I'm telling you, your kids, you don't. I just felt like he didn't listen to his fucking kids at all. I mean, that was the main point in the fucking story. Spoiler alert. As a dad, I had issue with that. I know as a character, I was like, no, his parenting skills fucking suck. I'll just say that. That's why I didn't like him.
But in his defense, if your kids came to you and said, there's a fucking monster under my bed, what would you do any more than what he did? Check under the bed, check the closet, and be like, nope.
But you're telling me he's not hearing all these thumps and screams in the middle of the fucking night? I know he's taking some kind of fucking pill.
Dude.
That might be the reason why. But I'm just saying, he needs to be fucking, he's not a very observant fucking father.
Nope, he was in complete autopilot, dude. You could tell when she came down wearing mom's dress, or you know what I'm saying? You could tell that fucking that
almost broke him.
Yeah, man. And he was on autopilot, dude. He wasn't right.
I don't give a fuck.
He was autopilot. He was, and his job. He's a therapist, so he's got to call it a spade a spade. You know what I mean?
I don't give a fuck.
I just think
your fucking kids.
I know what you're saying, but I think it's not his fault that he's like that.
This is kind of spoilery, but I think they kind of address this at the end, because in the end, you do see him at therapy with both the daughters.
Yeah, but it took all
that before he wasn't with them.
No.
So
facing it.
Yeah, I'm just saying it took all that for him to step the fuck up.
Well, yes. I'm sorry. I would have a hard time believing there was a monster under my kid's bed too if that was approached to me. I would have to now.
You can't let her sleep in your bed for a fucking night. That's be you give you screen time. I'll let you sleep in my bed. Come the fuck on, man. Just saying.
All right.
Get shit together.
I think it was complete autopilot.
You got some supporters on this take there, Colonel. So Rick says, I agree with Colonel about the dad. And he says, not even that part with the dad about not seeing things, about not telling the kids what was wrong with him and not talking to the older daughter. You got to get past that as a dad, even if it sucks for you.
Exactly.
If you don't realize something's wrong, though, you can't fix it.
No, he's not even talking about the
occur to you. He was fucking numb to this tragedy, man.
Right.
Well, be a fucking man. I'm with Rick. Even all that shit going on, he could have listened to his fucking daughter.
Be a fucking man.
Fuck off.
Oh, good Lord.
I agree with you, but I don't think he realized. I think he was like getting hit with a fucking hammer, dude. He was just hearing. He's not feeling it, man. He doesn't know. He's not realizing what he's doing. It's autopilot, dude. He's out. He's not there yet. It's the basic.
All right. Let's move on. We could spend an hour just bitching back and forth about what was wrong with the dad.
I felt that guy's pain, man, when that kid came down with that shirt on and shit, dude. So I mean, I was like,
oh yeah, dude, that would crush me,
dude,
if I saw that. I think the dad at that point was just pushing on to push on, you know.
In his mind,
it down.
He was getting shit done still. But
right.
Emotionally, he wasn't there because he was numb, dude. He was out.
I want to talk about the tone of this film and the visual, the cinematography of it, if you will, and just like one of you mentioned about how, I think it was Colonel, in the corners, you never knew what was there, but you just assumed the boogeyman was there. But man, the tone of this film is set from the first fucking scene. And I love that first fucking scene, just the way it's shot, and the camera's kind of gliding around like nothing's wrong in this room. This kid wakes up, the kid hears the dad's voice. It swings around, you know, you see the closet door opening, it swings back around to the crib, the kid's standing in the crib. You know, you hear the dad's voice, and the kid starts screaming. This like grisly hand comes up, and then it cuts to the family photo on the chest. Well, it doesn't even cut to it. It drifts over to that family photo, and there's a scream, and then silence, a thud, and a splash of blood on the photo. And that, for the beginning of a fucking PG-13 movie, no, you don't see anything, but that's a masterful fucking beginning scene, and it set the tone for the entire fucking movie, and you don't see a goddamn thing. And I thought it was fucking brilliant. Colonel, continue.
Yeah, it was fucking brilliant. And like I asked him, the lighting was so great throughout this whole fucking movie. Even the night scenes, without giving too much away. Again, I don't want to be too spoilery, but there's one scene where Vivian, the youngest daughter, is playing PlayStation in the dark with just the TV on. And just the flashes from the screen, from the gunshots.
Yep.
Lighting everything up was fucking fantastic.
Yeah. Similar to Host, when one of the characters in that, was it? No, not Gemma. Yeah, uses the Polaroid. It was, that was maybe one of the things we were talking about last night. About that's kind of a similar take. So, yeah, I love that scene too. That was a great scene. There's not Ziggy. I'll throw it to you. Was there any particular scene, cinematography wise, or the way they filmed it, or lighting, theme wise?
You said it right, man. Just that starting in that dark room with all those big shadows, you know, and then that seemingly bright light coming in the window, yet nothing in the room is lit up except the little beam coming in the window. And this is where I see his comparisons to The Conjuring and of the like, stuff like this, because the way they scan that room slowly, they go right past the things that are going to hurt you, and you don't even notice. And it's just good, man. This guy's got a fucking eye. And again, he's just, I hope he keeps going, and I hope they let him keep doing what he's doing, because I just think there's big things ahead. And we may see it. This is one of the new greats of horror, I think. I don't know.
I didn't mention the other names that I've kind of lumped him in with, but, you know, he's in there, for me at least, with the Ty West, with Flanagan even. as
I'll go with
that's high praise for you to put it in there.
I'm saying it, man.
Yeah,
I'm saying it. You know, and maybe it's because we haven't had anything from Flanagan in a while. Maybe I'm getting a little withdrawal. And
yeah, but this guy's
good though, man.
This guy's a better. I mean, it's.
Well, we didn't know. We didn't know how he was going to be with a narrative story.
Right, and then,
which was one of the questions I wanted to ask him. I wanted to ask him how he adjusted from like these experimental found footage style films to a true narrative, you know, with cinematography that was important.
Right, because we don't.
And he transitioned like a fucking pro that he
like
is.
a champ.
Like, boom.
To say we don't know his background really too much, but where he went, you know, his education. I mean, I see he made a bunch of smaller things as he was going, and then you know,
everybody makes shorts nowadays.
Yeah, shorts.
I mean, that's
joke,
like your calling card now.
The joke that led to
right
Host.
Right.
But
you gotta watch his video about that. That's
I want to see that. Yeah, I mean,
that's great.
I just wouldn't have time to see if it was out there or not. You know, I was like, it's got to be out there.
Yeah, it's out there somewhere.
And then,
or at least I think him telling the story is out there.
And then they came after him right away and said, "You can do this, make this. Let's make this a feature. Let's do this." You know, Shudder, I guess. So. Right. I don't know. The guy's got a way of looking at shit, and it's seems fresh. Old tropes redone the right way. Old dogs learning new tricks. New dogs learning old tricks. Redoing old tricks, and it's good.
Well,
go ahead.
No, that's one of the things I like most about Rob. He does take old tricks and make them modern.
Right.
And he's young enough to where, you know, these old tropes, he's able to transition them to the modern world with Zoom and, you know, streaming services, you know, like live services and this and that, using apps. And it's fucking brilliant. I mean, we've seen people add text messages and other shit. We've seen other films like this. But he has a way of actually making it terrifying, even though I do agree, Dashcam, the comments on the side were a little distracting because I was having too much fun just reading what the fuck people were saying.
Yeah.
But he took that shit off the screen when it really needed to be and had an important part to tell the story.
Yep.
So
I'm going to watch it again just to watch the comment stream.
I was going to
straight
say
up,
yeah.
straight through, just to see if you can.
We even joked that we could just sit here and read the comments as they came out, and this would be fun. But no, I like his style a lot, and it does remind me of Flanagan in especially with his usage of grief in this movie, at least, as you know, the main tone. You know, and the fact that the creature is somewhat attracted to grief. I mean, that's something that Flanagan uses in 70%, 80% of his work, I would say. So, yeah, he's up there with those two and a couple more that are current, that are modern day directors. But I wouldn't say any of this is wholly original. You know, but the way he does it, it works, and it comes off as fresh still in a way. I mean, would you agree with that, Ziggy?
100%. Everything. Yes. I mean, it's the timing, that everything about him, the way those jump scares, dude. I can't get over that aspect of this. That really fascinates me. How I can see it a mile away, and it still hits you in the face. You can't stop it. That was good.
Oh, thank you.
Didn't make me jump. Good.
Anybody else? Did you jump there? I seen him getting ready for that shit. I was like,
"You're welcome, Rosie."
I'm gonna keep talking, and maybe he'll nail it here.
Well, I was actually reading the comments when you started that, and I was like, "Fuck!" I'd been on that page for like ever. I was waiting for somebody to say it. Then no one did, and as soon as I switched, you're like, "Oh, and yeah, I want to talk about the jump scare." I was like, "Motherfucker!"
Well, I mean, that part that really stands out. I mean, to be able to deliver it that way across.
Lorena, god damn it! I was sitting here half asleep. Wake up, girl. We're not done yet. All right. Let's hit this. Joseph says, cinema photography for me this movie had the Halloween feel to it. That's a good comparison, actually.
Yeah,
I can see that.
Feel as wide, you know what I mean? But I know what he's saying. I know what he's saying.
Yeah, you were constantly checking out the corners to see if the monster was there or not. Sometimes he was there, and sometimes he wasn't. It just added to how creepy this movie was.
Oh yeah, you would go right by him, and there was something there. And when it goes back, it's not there. It's like
Yep.
Shit.
Tarek may be talking about.
Found it.
Hold on, found it. Hold on. Let me go back up. Let me see this. Something like this. All right. Haven't seen interviews, but I read something about the director said he had to recut after test screenings because it was too intense. I hadn't heard that, but let's see what you're... From Louder Sound, Rob Savage claims that when audiences first saw The Creature, they screamed so much and ended up talking and screaming over important dialogue. So to fix this, the film needed to be recut by adding noise so that audience members have time to react and not miss any vital information. Ah, I see. So, in summary, the crowd screamed too much, wasn't paying attention to the story, so he had to make it less scary. Yeah. Dude, I have a hard time with a lot of horror audiences anymore. Like when I go to a movie anyway. I haven't had that many that are just talkative over the film, but I have had phone going off, answering your fucking phone when you're in the seat directly behind me. You know.
No, I can talk.
Yeah, exactly. But I had, and this, like I said, this was one of the first films that I've seen in a while that had genuine, you know, high energy responses from people as they were watching it. I haven't seen that many lately. Minus the few like, ooh, and something like really gross happens, like with feet or eyes or, you know, stuff like that. But okay, so Tarek says, "Oh yeah, for sure. Every time I hear about test screen audiences, I'm like, who did you find to watch this? The Muppets?" Maybe. And Faye says, "The crowd I had behind me talked through the entire film, the entire damn thing, not a second of silence."
I'd have got the fuck up.
You know, it was great. The audience I watched this with, like I said, there was about 20 people in the theater, first showing of the day. Quiet, except for the jump scares. You hear people scream, you know. It was perfect. The shitty one was The Little Mermaid. Jesus fucking Christ. Someone brought like a 2-year-old. And I ain't falling into a 2-year-old. A 2-year-old is going to be a fucking 2-year-old. But man, instead of taking the kid out of the theater when they're throwing a fucking hissy fit, they're just like, be quiet, settle down, being like, it's like, take your kid to the bathroom, show them the fuck out, and bring them back, man.
Yep.
Right.
Like, that pissed me the fuck off. So
Right.
family movies are a fucking nightmare for me. And fucking kids.
I could see that.
Nope. There's only actually, I went to like the first show today, and it was just me and some other dude, and then someone walked in, and it was all fine until, you know, they started getting into their, it's like that plastic bag.
Oh, the candy wrappers?
The real crinkly kind, though, not like just regular like a chip bag. This shit was like the hard crinkly kind. So that's all
dude. I don't know why movie theaters are packaging shit in that now.
No. This was smuggled in, man. This was
okay.
Because it was just constant, man. I don't have an example around
Oh,
here.
I know what you're talking about.
A real bag
Right.
of fucking microwave popcorn. It was like, shh.
Dude.
They got their microwave in there too.
Plugged in their RV. Let's pop this for the movie.
Oh, that's not even close.
Not even close, but it was just like, I don't believe this. And they were sitting like down in the front pit too, you know. I was like,
But you could still hear them.
Oh yeah, that's all you could hear was the plastic. I was like, is that part of the movie? What is that? The monster coming? Nope. Dum Dums getting their fucking suckers out of the plastic bag again.
Getting their dum-dums out.
Yeah. Oh man. But other than that, man, it was all right.
Tarek says, Colonel, the first showing of the day had 20 peeps. What time was that?
1:20 in the afternoon.
Yeah, mine was 1:45 and only had maybe 8 people in it, but not too bad.
It was like 10 in the morning.
Oh, jeez.
But I like it when it's just me in there. You know, I have a whole fucking theater to myself.
I do too sometimes, but I was glad this one.
This one would have been good
had an audience.
with an audience.
Yeah.
Because this is that type of shit, that energy, that perfect scream in an audience like this will reverberate through the whole crowd. It's great, man.
The first time I saw it, there were 2 girls sitting behind me, I think, that were screaming at all the right points, and it was just so hysterical because their screams were startling me. You know, it wasn't the movie; it was them. It was like Jesus, and they were loud.
I love it.
Rick says, no doubt people all over the theater talking like my 8-year-old knows once the movie starts to let people watch, but these guys wouldn't shut the fuck up. He didn't say that, but I did. Carol Locatelli did.
When they got the light up phone where the whole case is a fucking
and it blinks.
LED, like it's got like a UFO, like dots around the entire side of it, so it just it's like a 9-foot circle around them of blue light.
Right.
Fucking
That's
assholes.
Ridiculous. Joseph says, Halloween and the Boogeyman did exactly the same thing, and it got the same vocal audience responses from the audience. I kept hearing, oh, hell no, throughout my entire movie. I also kept hearing, turn on the fucking lights, and a lot of screaming. This movie was so much fun watching with a sold-out audience.
Oh, yeah.
There's something right there that he mentioned that I want to talk about. Why didn't any of these characters just turn on some lights? Or, hey, how easy is this?
Well,
she had a phone. She could have gone through the house with a flashlight.
But it only illuminates so much.
Yeah, but
it's all right. I mean, I'm fine with the fact that maybe these phones didn't have flashlights. I'll go with that.
All do.
Maybe we're
they
just
all do.
too scared to fucking think to that point,
But think about it. I mean, even the night scenes, there were lights on in the house.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But we all know everybody.
And the creature
lights only light up so much.
And the creature did have some kind of control over the lights. He was able to pop some out.
He pops them out. He broke her fucking moon, fucking night light. Like, the creature was able to take out the fucking light if need be.
Right.
Even candles. So it's like, people did light stuff up. They had lights on. It just didn't matter because you're never going to illuminate every inch of a fucking room in your house. In a normal fucking house, you're not going to do it.
Right. Crap. Just jumped way ahead, I think. Tarek says, dying laughing, so true. People be smuggling in Doritos wrapped in tinfoil and gunpowder. That's probably a close description of what I hear sometimes.
Dude.
So you're talking about smuggling things in. This has nothing to do.
Oh, God, stop.
But man, I need someone to talk to my oldest daughter about finally carrying a fucking purse. Even if it's just to the movies. You know how hard it is for me to smuggle in those dollar candies boxes are like this big in my fucking dad's shorts. Like, they pop out and it shakes. It's like every step I take, I'm just lucky these teenagers don't give a fuck.
Yep.
They just scan my shit, give me my popcorn and pop and let me go.
Yep, he walks by, they go.
What a dick.
I'd rather pay $1 for a box of Reese's Pieces instead of $5 fucking dollars. Just saying.
I had points. I had reward points on my MJR card, so my medium popcorn was free, but my fucking large Mountain Dew was $6.
That's pretty cheap, dude. That's like $7.50 for a large.
I don't know what's going on in Cincinnati at the movie theaters, dude. The matinee is $6, but only $5 for me because I'm a VIP. You know what I'm saying? I got the card. $5.
$11.33 matinee.
Fuck that, man. I mean, even you go to the main one, it's only $11, I think, at night.
Jesus, I want to know where your theater is getting their prices and if they would pass that around.
We're in the Midwest.
All right, Lorena, yeah, you guys are like 4 hours apart. Go fuck yourself.
Everything's more expensive in Ohio. I don't know what's going on over there.
Lorena says That's the fun thing about going to the movies with Andy. He screams real good. I guess Andy's not here to defend himself.
Anybody get a broken arm at that movie, Lorena?
Yeah, exactly. Did you pull your shoulder? Or he pull your shoulder? That's a good one. Tarek says, I can't use my flashlight. There's no signal in here.
Yep.
Yeah, hold on. There we go. Thank you. Charles, what's going on? Charles says, if they turned on the lights, there would be no movie. Same as having smart people who listen to the town folks saying the place is cursed, or the voice that tells you to get out. Cheers to stupid people, an endless source of entertainment. That's right.
That is right. That's the exact same explanation I always give to my oldest daughter. I said, well, they just run away. You wouldn't have a movie if they just ran away.
Right.
Come on.
I think he mentioned Darkness Falls, too, as one of the ones in his loop.
Mm-hmm.
And there's another one with the lights like that, and they had to stay in the light. And the thing was constantly swirling around them the whole time. The Tooth Fairy, whatever the fuck that was.
Right. Lorena does say, yes, he yanked my arm off. I'm used to sewing it back on. And Andy's at band practice tonight. All right. One of the stories I heard in my research was Vivian Lyra Blair, who played Sawyer, the youngest daughter. I guess she is in the extended Star Wars universe as a young Princess Leia. I don't know because
she is.
I don't watch any of those.
The Obi-Wan Kenobi series.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I did watch that.
And the original, and she was also the kid in Bird Box too, if you guys didn't know that. So
that I didn't know. I recognize her as Princess Leia though.
Okay.
Sequel coming, by the way.
Sequel coming. And one of the stories I heard was originally in the script, and they started in production with this way. It was going to be a toy lightsaber, and they wanted it to be kind of fritzing and not working exactly correctly, where it would like light up and zoom out, but then fade back. So you would still get that similar, light moving towards the darkness effect, but then also retracting. And I guess
Sure.
Disney got a hold of them and was just like, yeah, we can't have a young Princess Leia using a glitchy lightsaber. And so they were forced to change it.
That was the hang-up, murdering little kids, innocent little kids. That had nothing to do with it, huh? Just the property, IP. Fucking Disney makes me sick.
Well, but it's not even Princess Leia. It's a different fucking character. It's the same actor. But that's why they had to do it. Now, granted, as shitty as that sounds, that moon ball they found, they Googled, him and a couple other people on the set were Googling children's toys that light up. That ball, there we go. That ball, the moon ball, was cooler than that anyway. Yeah. And Rob Savage has gone on record saying, it was kind of a shitty thing for them to do, but it ended up being a blessing because they did find that and it worked out better. So
that was really cool, yeah, because the ball rolls down and it's lighting as it's rolling, and it's cool.
That is a very uneven house. It's very old, very sad.
Oh yeah. They need to level. They need to level that foundation a little bit because it's a little off.
It was like my house. Ooh. It's like shit.
You come in kernels with a little bit of a buzz. It's like start falling one way, man. You're not careful.
I'm still surprised I haven't fallen down his stairs yet.
Those are the most narrow.
I'm surprised I haven't fallen down the stairs yet.
They're like this, man.
Those are the steepest stairs I've seen in any house in a long damn time.
I mean, you need to work your calves and thighs out and shit, man. Just run up and down his stairs a couple of times. You're good. You'll feel the fucking burn.
You should have tried moving all this shit in, carrying all this shit up the fucking steps.
Dude, I know I'm out of shape, but fuck. That just getting to the top of those stairs with a suitcase is whoo,
That was the only benefit of not having a bedroom over there, man. Just sleeping on the couch was not having to run up those motherfuckers.
Funny story for you guys. I've not fallen down those steps, but I've fallen up them twice. Shit.
Well, I love that visual that I have in my head now. Thank you, Colonel. I'm going to be laughing about that for the rest of the night now. Just out of the blue, that will go through my head, and I'll just be like.
Fucking sucks, man. It hurts.
Tarek says Disney would be like that. That wouldn't happen with a Leah person. Also, Pocahontas was a happy person. Right.
We started talking shit about Disney and.
Right. Oh yeah, we better be careful.
Yeah,
you know,
bunch
the
of people
ghost,
got
the
shut
ghost
up.
of Walt may come pouring through our walls.
Uh-huh.
All right.
Controversy sells, though. Disney pull some shit. We can.
Who said that?
Whose ass do I need to kick?
Whose ass needs kicking in here?
All right. Without giving away too many spoilers, it was telegraphed. But how did you feel about the ending? And how did you feel about the coda that they added on the ending? And I'm glad Ziggy picked up that it was almost a moment from the short story, but they tweaked it enough to make it a little different. But you had that feeling going in. Colonel, what did you think of the endings?
The endings, the final ending was good. I really did like that. I have not read the short story, so I thought that was a great way to set up a fucking sequel. Because even I was confused at first. I'm like, oh, okay. Then I'm like, wait a minute. There's no fucking way. There's no fucking way. But the ending, dude, I saw it from a mile away. That is one of my complaints. Like, I know it's a PG-13 movie, it's for a wider audience, but fuck, they focused on an item way too much. And I'm like, yeah, going to Blumhouse. And I was right. Like, I figured it out pretty fucking quick. So that did affect my score for the movie a little bit.
Well, and that first shot where she finds the item that you're talking about up in the top corner is also the other item that gets used. And as soon as that box gets opened, when she's going through her mom's stuff, I was like, well, they just telegraphed the ending for me, so there we go. Ziggy, did you catch all that as well and know that that's where we were going? Now, and I'll add this on top of it, and then we'll come back to Colonel. But did that bother you?
No, I mean, I think I was so tickled by how they were ending it with the reference to the book like that I was like, oh, okay, here we go, man. You know, so I was cool, you know, with it. And then all they did tweak was to set it up for a possible sequel, not a definite sequel.
No.
But that's where the only tweak came, because obviously if you've read the short story, the whole thing comes to an end right there, and it could have.
Well,
I mean, that might have been cool too.
But the tweak I'm talking about is the doctor wasn't a creature.
That's what I'm saying, and I would have been fine if she was.
Okay.
I would have been okay with that. I'd have been, well, it's because they don't really tell, you know, we don't know origins of the Boogeyman at this point. So that would have been fine by me. Like, maybe he got there like the big bad wolf in Red Riding Hood before, you know what I mean? But just the fact that that trait that it does happens tells me that, okay, you can't kill the Boogeyman.
You can't kill the Boogeyman.
As Tommy told us.
But did it bother you that the other ending was kind of telegraphed far in advance?
Whatever. I mean, you knew.
As Faze says, I was thinking to myself, Blumhouse would love this.
Yeah, I mean, I was actually a bit amused by a burning house. There was a burning house involved here. Something we haven't seen in the last few Blumhouses, so it was nice for them to revisit that old flame.
But this isn't the Blumhouse, is it?
No.
Yeah.
It's a page from the Blumhouse books, dude. I mean, this is 20th Century Fox put this out.
So Disney owns it. That's why they got their nose in the lightsaber.
Right.
There we go.
Right.
But the fact that you're referencing the manipulating flame, and yes, I absolutely knew that was going to play into it somehow to some point. But I was a bit amused by, I was taken out of it with the whole burning house.
Fuck, Colonel, I tried to push you into it too, but you didn't ask if these were all in the same universe.
Yeah.
No, I did.
But he kind of said it.
He kind of mentioned it. But,
yeah.
Well, I got spoiler free. I was like, when I saw what I thought I saw, was that true? So yeah, I didn't want to spoil anything with the interview with him. I'll spoil shit now.
Okay. He did.
But talking about fucking endings, I like the false ending more than the actual. Right? I thought the false disposal compared to the actual disposal of the fucking monster.
Mm-hmm.
I knew he was British. I really, spoiler, if I could have had a spoiler question for him. But did you think that was the most American way ever to try to get rid of a fucking monster? Because I thought it was. And I found it hilarious.
That's funny.
Like,
yeah.
that one I thought, okay, you get an A for originality. It's fucking funny. Like, I knew it wasn't going to work, but because there's too much movie left. But man, it was fucking great.
It was fun. I mean, and it was different. It was different. You don't see it a lot, so I appreciated it.
It's just American as shit. That's what I'm going to say. It's fucking funny.
I've never seen anything like that in a, you dispatch anybody. But I loved the double tap when she stepped back in. And, yeah, you knew that shit wasn't going to work. But
not at all. But, man, I was really hoping full-blown RoboCop in a PG setting for that scene.
That is the one thing about that ending that is a little bit... It's probably the least thing I liked about it was the fact that all of a sudden the lighter goes and it's okay and it bends over. Right. I mean, so even it's not terrible. I mean, but it is a little bit like, all right, you just kind of go. You've accepted this much. I mean, that's the worst thing about it, and that's not saying a bad thing, really. I mean, if you have to pick on something, okay.
Yeah.
Because that doesn't really, you know what I mean? What's going on here now? I mean, we've completely blurred all lines between reality and the living and the beyond whatever it is in this movie.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So,
okay.
I don't know.
Let me hit a few comments and then we'll start wrapping this up. Tarek says, rolling the floor laughing, dude, they did the poo horror already. We need Mickey horror. Oh, God, we need that. I'm going to fucking kill you, dude.
Well, they did say he's almost to the point where it's public domain for Mickey. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I thought he hit public domain, or no, it was one of the original cartoons hit public domain not too long ago, but not the full character, I don't think. Maybe that was it. BK says, if you boys ever make it up to Michigan, you can save money on a hotel and stay at my house. The stairs to the upstairs are about 6 inches wide and are like climbing a carpeted ladder.
Same right behind me, bro. Same right behind me.
Yeah, dude.
As fun as that sounds, BK, yeah, I'll swing by.
He's close.
I'm 80 to 85% sure I'm gonna be in Michigan in July.
It's just because even if we don't get the VIPs.
Well, if we don't get the VIPs, we don't get.
I know.
Bruce.
Well, we got a very low percentage to get in there.
Right.
I'm going to try to get us some. I'm working on press credentials for that, but I don't know. It's kind of late, I think. So
right.
I'm trying though.
All right. But yes, so BK and Adam, if you're up there, and Tarek's up there too.
Tarek's
right?
about an hour.
He can make the drive. He can make the fucking drive.
You're coming down, Tarek. We're gonna get a DCS get together in this motherfucker. You're coming.
Yep.
Damn it.
And I've also been guaranteed a more difficult poker game as well. So.
Guy sits at a table with a bunch of fish and thinks he's the man now.
Are you calling those Dallas
I sat with
fish?
the aces, dude. I sat with the hardcore guys. No
Get
hand.
the fuck out of here.
You saw no hand for less than triple the big blind. None of them from
Get the
fucking hand one.
All right, we're moving on. Get the fuck out of here. You're just a sore loser.
Boring. Let's go.
You're just a sore loser again.
First one out.
Out of the three of us, yep. Tarek says, yeah, I got to be fair. I'd probably be okay with a telegraph finale in the second act, just knowing the story it's based on.
It's not horrible.
If you haven't seen it, you'll see what I'm talking about. Lorena says, yeah, and was the house built out of matchsticks soaked in gasoline?
Oh my God!
It was at some point. Yeah.
It looked like a mob job, dude. Are you kidding me? Fucking Goodfellas.
Tarek says, yes, you may spoil now. Yes, I'm unethically speaking for everyone. I'm a secondhand troll. Faye says it's like the meme of someone that burns their house down after seeing a spider. Big fucking spider though.
Yeah, very big.
So
like Australian size.
Yeah. Tarek says perfect analogy with that. Lorena says your sister is totally going to do that someday. That's funny. Tarek says Mickey Mouse should be public domain, but Disney has been loopholing it for decades. Maybe that's what it is.
They got to release like a 30-second anything of new thing with Mickey Mouse, and it's good for another whatever couple of years or something like that.
Oh, there we go. BK says poker at my house then. Game on.
We'll do it.
And Faye says the copyright on Steamboat Willie version of Mickey is going to expire in 2024, 96 years after its initial release. All right. We touched on it, and you guys said your piece whenever Rob was here, but now that he's gone, and it's been like an hour, and I want to ask, because I'll be honest, it didn't bother me at all. And I think I've topped that hill. I'm coming down the other side of my over-ending hatred for CGI effects and creatures and things. I think I'm on the other side, and I'm coming back down. So the CGI in this, honestly, did not bother me at all. And one of the main reasons is we got to get used to it, because that's what we're going to get. I don't have to get used to shitty acting. I don't have to get used to bad stories, because there are always better actors and there's always better fucking stories. But I do know the CGI is here to stay. So, but this was better CGI than you've seen in other films. So, Colonel, what was your real take on it?
No, my real take is the same one I gave. I mean, like I told you guys, if it's gore, I'm still going to hate fucking CGI. I'm coming around to monsters. Like it's just the way of the world it is. I'm like you. It's like there's no point in bitching about it anymore. I get it, cost wise, it makes more sense for a CGI monster. If you do it well, I'm okay with it. Again, the gore though, if I get hit with a bunch of CGI gore, fuck that. I've seen Terrifier 2. You can still do practical effects when it comes to gore. That's where I'm going. That's my dinosaur thinking when it comes to CGI. Give me practical gore. I can live with a good CGI monster. If you hit me with that sci-fi original bullshit like in It Chapter 2 with Paul Bunyan, I'm going to lose my shit. It has to be good CGI for me to be like, okay.
All right.
Flashbacks to Paul Bunyan. Thanks a lot, guys.
Yep. Lorena says, yeah, I think they did a good job with the monster, and she makes a good point. Clever use of shadows helped a lot. Yes. I absolutely agree. And I was going to mention, he definitely subscribed to the Jaws school of revealing your monster, lessons in this. But Ziggy, what about you? What was your real thoughts on the CGI?
I kind of was honest when I said it the first time.
That's why I love our show, because we will be honest with the fucking guy. I would have told him if I hated it.
I said it later too, right when he left. I was like, if it would have sucked, we would have been forced to say it sucked, and it did. But I did ask. I wanted to ask him if the practical, compared. Did you want it? And I'm almost satisfied with him saying, you know what, I did want it, but we realized we were up against it. If we wanted to make this date, we had to go with what we had, and almost all the monster shots are filtered in the darkness, and that it helps it immensely in this case. But there's nothing wrong with it. It looks fucking good here. This monster's scary, man. Finally, we got a scary fucking monster. Yep. Goddamn boogeyman, dude, and he's scary. I got no problem with the CGI here. None.
All right, cool. Then
I will finish. I will say again quickly, as Colonel said, the effects, the kills, deaths, like that kind of CGI, we are starting to get 1 out of 10 is passable, but it ain't there yet. Not there yet. I want my practical deaths and cuts practical, the right way.
I'll throw another shitty CGI example at you that we watched recently. Prey.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. The snake.
Sci-fi original shit.
All right.
Everyone
Rick
loved that
says
movie. Yeah, go ahead.
CGI sucks. Usually, didn't have a problem in this one. Tarek says, "Oh, go ahead."
Again, going into it, I was scared to death after seeing a couple of people saying, "Oh fuck, they fucked it up again with the CGI monster. Ruined a great movie." You know,
Okay.
great movie ruined. That's
where my point is going, I think.
Right.
Tarek says CGI peaked with Scorpion King. That's funny. That's fucking funny. Faye says CGI will continue to evolve and improve. I already covered. We already hit that one. I don't know what that means, but something about a cheesy grin emoji. Here's a good one. Joseph says, "Ask me how good the CGI is in this movie in 10 years. You look at something like Titanic, and now it looks like they're walking around on a painted cartoon boat. Back in the day, it was amazing looking. So CGI for me, I've learned, give it a couple years before I give it a final rating." I haven't watched Titanic in a while, but the last time I did, I wasn't thrown off by the CGI. So,
see, I see where he's coming from. I rewatched Spider-Man from 2000 recently. That
2002?
Or yeah, 2002, whenever.
Okay.
But yeah, that CGI has not aged well in certain scenes.
Okay.
I would say in 2 more so, like with the Dr. Octopus stuff specifically, looked a little bit off. You know, I still love that movie. You know,
I can see too, especially with Doc Ock being very cartoonish looking now. God damn it, Joseph! Now I got to watch Titanic tonight. There goes 3 hours of my life.
Titanic was one I avoided for like 16 years or something. Yeah, man, you know.
Dude, I was fascinated with Titanic when it came out. I'll be honest. When it first came out, I saw that movie 11 times in the theater. I like that movie a lot. I hate the song now. And I don't think I even liked the song then. But I love the movie. I thought the effects were great.
See, I think my Titanic story is, I think I embarrassed my family. Like I said, we had a family day. My mom, my stepdad, myself, and my sister to go see the Titanic. So my mom and sister were going to go see Titanic. This is when we still had a cheap theater around here where there was like $2.50 a ticket. So we go watch that. I'm bored out of my fucking mind. 97 or whenever it came out. I'm like,
how old were you though? 10?
12, 13 years old.
12?
Yeah, when it came out. Bored out of my fucking mind until the good shit started happening. Yeah. Dude, when that dude fell and hit the propeller and it was like, boom, I fucking lost it. I was already laughing, but man, I was just rolling. But I'm pretty sure my mom was like,
I always thought the effects in Titanic were great. So yeah, Joseph, you made my plans for the night. So god damn it, I probably won't even get to start it until like midnight either. Fuck. Thanks. Anyway, Faye says yes. Prey was ridiculous. Tarek says I enjoyed Prey, but I wouldn't recommend it. I spent the whole film judging the ups and downs of the CGI, and it was great for that. That was one of the main issues we had with it. So, there we go. Joseph says, Lord of the Rings has not aged well at all. Back in the day, it was fucking amazing. I have to see that, too. I'm not watching that tonight with Titanic, though.
It was a brand new technology where they had, like, all those armies and the wars fighting and everything, and each warrior did its own independent thing. So if you really look close, there's some of those guys aren't even lined up properly. You know.
Yeah, they're like swinging over here when the enemy's here.
They're just they're fighting air and stuff. They're just standing out there fighting nothing. It's whatever though. I love those two.
But back in the day, Lord of the Rings was amazing. Yeah, we'll have to check that out too. Faye says, I like the Titanic was based on real events somewhat. I didn't like the romance at all. Fair enough.
No.
The romance was cheesy, but it was there.
I did like the scene where he's drawing her like one of the French girls. As a 12-year-old boy, that's probably my favorite scene in the whole movie. After the guy that got fell in the cup, so
Well,
like my
and
second favorite scene.
Tarek says, I too love the fall in Titanic. Then Bill Burr was like, that dude should have been the main character. And that's been in my mind since. Oh, God. Rick says, watch the Titanic 2 called Titanic 666 on Tubi.
Oh, no.
Hold on. I gotta give Rick a look.
Wait a minute.
There you go. Oh shit! The glasses are
The
off.
glasses even came up. That might be a first, Rick. It might be a first.
Stealing my stick. I haven't had enough to take the glasses off in a while. That's the fucked up part.
Now,
I almost thought I got you with what were we getting? You were upset about earlier.
No, I wasn't upset. I was just making good debate. Good argument. That's all.
All right. Well, the fun part's here now. It's time to rank or rate the Boogeyman. So, Ziggy, I'm going to start with you.
I get to do the honors.
0 to 10. What's
I
your
will
rating on
say
Boogeyman?
this discussion has helped me realize a couple of things about this movie and increase my score a bit now that I'm thinking about it.
Did it go up? Nice.
It did. This is a scary movie. And it once again, Rob demonstrates his masterful eye of walking down a dark hallway or into a dark room and just making it terrifying. I mean, taking you right back to when you were a little kid, taking you right back when you were in your basement and you walk like you got a stick up your ass, maybe even jog up that fucking thing just because you feel like there's someone behind you. He's got all that in this, and it's good. The CGI of this monster is scary, and he's a little sadistic and smart. It's all scary about him. Everything. Boogeyman's cool, man. I wouldn't mind seeing more of this and where it goes, and I would love to see. I don't know. Yeah, it could probably move on to somebody else now because it was defeated here by this particular group. So, spoiler alert.
Or was it?
The Boogeyman,
Yeah,
or was
it?
And yeah, it's totally worth it. He's done it again. He's made another entertaining, fucking scary movie. I am a Rob Savage fan, and I'm giving The Boogeyman an 8.
Whew. Is that your highest rating so far of the year?
It is, or it's same as. I think I have 2 8s now this year.
Okay. Colonel.
All right, The Boogeyman. Like I've been saying all night, it was a fun movie. It was a fun watch, especially at the theater. You have to see this at the theater. I don't think
with an audience.
With an audience, yes. It'll still scare you at home, but the audience reactions make it so much more fun. Again, the acting was great. The cinematography was fucking great. Even the score. There's one point where Sophie's going into a house before I get to the most American shit I ever seen, and just those drum beats that she was heading in kind of got you built up for like, oh shit, here we go, about to fight. But ending was very predictable, as we discussed. It's so easy to figure out, which is fine. Most horror movies are like that nowadays anyway. They're all written in fucking crayon and put up on the screen. And I appreciate the character development. There were parts in this movie where it got a little slow for me. There were a couple times, like even Rob said himself, I checked my phone just to see what time it was. Just a quick little, oh, okay, it's 2:03. Put it back in the pocket. And actually, my score went down just a little bit after 2 days of really thinking on it.
Really?
Because I enjoyed Evil Dead Rise more. But that is not a knock on the Boogeyman. So the Boogeyman, I'm coming in at a solid 7.5. I'd rather put 7.75, but we don't do that shit here. So 7.5, which is again it's a good fucking movie. You got to see it.
I think this is better than Evil Dead Rise for me. For me,
I enjoyed Evil Dead Rise more than the Boogeyman.
But I mean,
much more.
I believe I gave Evil Dead Rise a 7.5. So I mean, it's right there.
Okay. Okay. Rick says, I give it an 8 because Ricky actually got scared and he doesn't scare easily. All right, cool.
Awesome.
Tarek says, I'm really happy that you guys still appreciate the art of the jump scare. Yes, it can be done wrong, but dude, it can be done so right.
Dude, like I said, this fucking guy, you've seen it, man. If you watched Host, you've seen it in Dashcam. They'll be just having a regular conversation. It comes like he changes the rhythm on you, man. You're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Boom! It's in your face, man. He's got you.
Tarek says, I only say that because 99% of the people I talk to about horror films seem to shit on jump scares just because they exist.
I think they all peed a little bit. Yeah, I think they peed a little bit, and they don't like the jump scares because they're afraid it's going to come out the other end next time. Fuck them.
Jump scares have been a vital part of horror films for years now. I'll agree. I hate a film that's built solely on jump scares to scare you. Rob did a great job of building up that tension in this movie, where the jump scares don't feel cheap; they feel warranted, like
paid off.
It's a good, yeah, exactly. It's a good payoff. Where like say, I hate to say it, the Conjuring movies, it's just okay, jump scare, jump scare, jump scare, jump scare. But it's, I like the way he built up the tension in this to get that payoff of the jump scare.
Did they show the Nun 2 trailer to you guys when you
went? Yeah, that actually looks pretty fucking.
Christ, that scared the shit out of me, man.
Yeah,
that doesn't look bad.
I was like, I got to see that. I didn't even realize it was coming out this year. I totally.
Oh my God, man!
Yeah,
that was
September,
a mega jump scare in the trailer. Now watch, that'll be the money moment of the whole fucking movie, probably. But it got me.
Faye says, I can appreciate what the audience brought, especially with the screaming. I will always prefer watching a movie on my own, though, just a preference. Fair enough.
I understand that too, but this one would only help the experience.
All right. Lorena says, solid 7. Not much scares me. Living alone, slept with the lights on a couple of times. All right. And Joseph comes in with an 8.5. Must visit this movie house soon. I think that was a set, man.
Yeah, that's what he said. He said everything was a set.
Yeah, I think he said everything was a set in New Orleans.
There has to be an exterior, though.
Now, did it bother anybody else that the house number was so fucking low? Or am I just that fucking weird?
That I didn't.
19. I'm like, 19?
That I didn't care about, but I like that the Billings house was 217.
See,
which is another
mailbox.
Another Easter egg for Stephen King.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well,
I did notice that.
I've seen numbers like that around in Michigan, so it didn't take me out of it.
It didn't take me out of it either. I just thought it was a stupid loading house number. What's so fucking low for? I don't know. It just bugged me.
Okay, gang.
There you have it. Crank's
got
Crank's
I gotta get a number.
Yeah,
I gotta get a number here.
10.5.
Shut the fuck up. I'm not gonna go that far. But
only allowed to give 110 a year.
No, that's not true. But I will say this, Joseph, you and I are in almost exact agreement because so far this has easily become my favorite movie of the year. Favorite horror movie of the year, at least. So far. Now, granted, it's only June, but I think Renfield was the top of my list on Letterboxd. And then, like, Evil Dead Rise was a couple down below that. And then, but I put this at number 1 so far because this movie, for me, hit all the right markers. The tone was fucking amazing. The cinematography was great. I love the fact, and that's one of the reasons why I'm glad I got to ask him about it. I love the fact that it switches from these smooth, slow shots on a lot of the film to when Sadie is flipping the fuck out, that it's kind of like weaving in and out a little bit. And I love that kind of storytelling. And that registered with me. I know we always talk about it, but the acting was top fucking notch. And I especially love it more because of the fact that it was younger actors. A 9-year-old fucking doing that shit? A fucking 9-year-old, kids. That's amazing. And Sophie Thatcher, also fantastic. And like Colonel said, going from this broken teen to the new mom figure for her sister. Mwah! Beautiful. Fucking beautiful. Lester Billings' role was fantastic, even though it was short. Like I said, this movie, the writing was great. This movie hit all the fucking marks. The few bits that they did improvise that they left in, great. Rob Savage is up there with some of my favorite modern directors now, and I have a feeling he's going to be there for a little while. I'm giving this movie a 9. Yeah. I love this movie, man. I'm abso-fucking-lutely going to buy this as soon as it comes out. But, yeah. So, Joseph, we're pretty close. 8.5 and a 9, which is why I said we're pretty close. So.
Oh, man, if there would have been, I know, and it didn't need it whatsoever, but if they would have threw a little blood in there, man, that would have been fucking, yeah.
This is what Joseph just said. Yeah. He said, the cool thing is we're talking so highly of a movie that is not bathed in blood and gore. Absolutely amazing. We're talking about a PG-13 being the best horror movie so far this year. Amazing. Absolutely.
I agree. But, I mean, also, a great horror film. I'll even say The Boogeyman is a great horror film. Granted, I'm not going to rank it up there with what I'm about to say. Doesn't necessarily need gore to be scary. Nope. Like I know Joseph was comparing it to Halloween quite a bit.
Halloween didn't have any gore.
A little bit of fucking ketchup on her fucking arm at the end of the movie. Like, there's no gore.
Yeah.
And Texas Chainsaw Massacre, really not a whole lot of gore. It's all in your fucking head. What was going on? So
7.5, right?
Yep.
8, and 9. So average out of about 8.25, I think, if I did the math right. So not bad. Stephen King and Rob Savage's Boogeyman, The Boogeyman, in theaters now. Go fucking check it out, guys. I think you're gonna like it if you haven't seen it.
And throw all other Boogeyman movies away. You don't need them anymore.
Oh, here we go. We got a late ranking here, or rating. Faye says, I would give it a 9 as well. I enjoyed it quite a bit, and I'm right with Crank. The cinematography and lighting was fantastic. It's especially impressive as PG-13 horror.
Stop kissing his ass, Faye. I'm just fucking with you. I know you're not.
But as far as the modern directors go, I mean, you got your Ari Asters, and they're doing this kind of outside-the-box type more artsy thing. I like the way this guy is kind of grounded in my realm. You know what I mean? It's a little more, I don't want to say basic or grassroots or anything, but it's, you know what I'm saying? It's not over the realm of just like, it's not, it can't touch Midsummer like that. You know what I mean? It isn't in that same realm.
Right.
Like that. He tells a story a different way, and it's a little more realistic that way. I don't know. I just love the fuck out of it, man.
I think Rob tells his stories a little more of a traditional way than, say, Ari Aster does.
It's fine, but he's still doing it. You know what I'm saying?
He's doing it his way. I get it.
New dog, old tricks. I think that's the most perfect analogy with what he's doing. What do you put up there?
Well, we didn't actually prepare for this as much as I would like, but I'm gonna.
And did I not get bitched at last night, Zach, for asking a question that he wasn't prepared for, and he does it to us all the time?
Well, I have mentioned this already, though.
Yes, you have. So I can tell.
Okay. So go fuck yourself, Colonel.
I would if I could.
We're gonna try out a new segment here on the show, just briefly, because this is the first time we're doing this. And we don't have an intro for it or anything. But this is a new segment called Bullshit News. And this week on Bullshit News, gang, get excited because there is a new Halloween movie coming to us in 2024. IMDb, and this is from someone named Raven Thompson on the Halloween Michael Myers Fan Club Facebook page, by the way. IMDb is a trustworthy site. Google it yourself. It is there, but this movie is real, no clickbaiting. And the movie will be called Halloween, Season of the Boogeyman. Interesting title. In 2024, it's in pre-production, expected in 2024, and the only synopsis we have right now is Michael Myers return to kill again. So, dude, I'm excited for this. Are you as ready for this as I am about another, especially after Halloween ends? We need more Michael Myers. Colonel, you ready for this?
Oh, dude, I'm fucking ready. And then by the title, I'm assuming it's going to be a crossover with Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. Like Silver Shamrock coming back to resurrect Michael from the fucking thing he got fucking crushed in. He's going to come back together as a whole with a new Silver Shamrock mask on his fucking skull. Like, where are we going to go with this? This is going to be so fucking awesome.
You think they're going that route? That would be interesting.
They are. I think they
are. That would be interesting. Ziggy, you got any theories on this?
What they don't mention is the return of Jamie Lloyd, Danielle Harris reprising her role in the Halloween universe to carry on the story.
At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought.
Okay, yeah. Raven Thompson, go fuck yourself. No, this is not happening. This is not true. I love this shit though. And we wanted to start this bit because we want to call these assholes out.
Frankly, we're fascinated by the psyche of what would drive you to put this together and put it out there knowing what's coming back at you. Is it are you some kind of masochist or something? What?
And it's so easy to Photoshop and put shit together today. What really lets me know that this is a real film is Michael Myers' return to kill again. You didn't even fucking returns. Dude,
right.
The fucking people are fucking morons.
Well, and maybe this is a fan film. I don't know, but this is so dumb. Why are people so hint on doing this?
A star for attention is that strong?
Is it that?
This.
It is. I mean, I don't care if it's a positive reaction or a negative reaction. Like, people get that serotonin going in their fucking brain. They see all these likes and comments coming up on their fucking posts. It's a fucking
I got 1,000 likes.
Huh?
I got 1,000 likes.
Exactly.
I'm viral. I went viral.
Now, granted, I do believe it is a fan film. All right, so
I'm going to shit on it even more if it was a real fucking movie.
Yeah.
This is the Halloween coming to us in 2024. Well, he doesn't necessarily say
in a theater or official or anything, but
it's real. No clickbaiting.
No clickbaiting.
No clickbaiting. But everyone that reads it is assuming it's a theatrical thing, and you know what I'm talking about. So I hate this shit. Stop doing this.
Be featured on this segment if you do.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly. Tarek says, also prepare for another great sequel, Hollow Man, Season of the Boogeyman.
No, I don't want to see that again.
That actually sounds
better.
Yeah, that might be better. Tarek, Crank, why are people so me? Yes. Anyway, I don't know how that went, but that was the first edition of Bullshit News.
Bullshit News.
We may
bullshit news.
If we catch any more of these kind of things, we may talk about it again. But yeah, stop it, people. You're not funny.
It's not funny.
It's not
cool.
Entertaining.
It's not real clicks. It's not real interactions. That's just.
They clearly said no clickbait.
That is the absolute definition of clickbait. You fucking imp.
Right. Anyway, wrapping it up, I want to say thanks to our members again. If you want to figure out how to become a member, check out our website at deathcursesociety.com. Thanks to our final girls and guys, Chris, Lorena, Christy, Luke, Charles, Tanya, and Tyrone, our crazy Ralph Raymond, and our camp counselors, Corey, Michigan Dave, S. Michael, Stacy Lynn, Orlando Kiara, Canadian Dave, and JJ. Thank you guys as always. Ziggy, send them out. Woo!
Oh, man, we're just swinging for the fences every fucking week now. I love it. It's great. And we're on a collision course with New Mexico. We're charging like a bullet train, man. We're heading down. Curse Your Luck Live is coming. I can't fucking wait.
Woo!
I'm sure we're gonna record it. I'm sure we'll lay it out on the channel here so everyone can watch it after the fact. But I mean, it's going to be crazy, but we're loving this fucking ride, man. And it seems the horror community is finally giving us some recognition as well. And we're going to keep delivering the energy, man. It comes in, we're going to give it out. And we're not going to stop. We ain't going anywhere.
That's right.
Society for life.
That's right. Colonel.
You're goddamn right. Thanks for tuning in tonight. This was a lot of fucking fun. It's growing. It's like, holy shit. The groundwork these guys put in, I'm glad to be back. They did a great job while I was gone. So it's been 3 weeks in a row. I'm officially back until next spring, I'm sure. And then I'm going sent back on assignment because these guys don't like me. That's okay.
No.
The wilds of Borneo are fucking fantastic that time of year. I could tell you. I'm looking forward to it. New Mexico, here we come. If anybody at work is watching, approve those fucking days off so I can book this goddamn flight.
And somebody watches cat.
I need a cat sitter too. I got everything taken care of but the cat sitter and those days being fucking approved so I can book this fucking flight. Yes, last minute with a month to go. I'm like, sure, I'll go. Because why the fuck not?
We need the Colonel there.
We need the Colonel there.
Yes. And by the way, gentlemen, I'm not going to spoil anything. I don't know if it's going to fit. It's going to be really big or ill-fitting. But I indeed found this suit for like $50 on Amazon.
Dude.
It's going to be nice. It's going to be fucking glorious.
Yes.
I hope it's way too big. Like Chris Farley, that shit, and pull it up like, Grr.
That guy in a little coat.
I can't wait. Did you have one more thing to say there, Colonel?
Oh, yes. I'm not going to fuck it up like I did last night because Tyrone, you're my test subject buddy, and it fucking failed miserably. So don't get sick. Wash your dick. Don't smell like a Scuba Steve. Use Summer's Eve.
Yeah.
All right. Well, BK says cats can live with no food or water for weeks, I think.
BK, it's the fucking time of year is what I'm worried about. I can get giant gravity feeders with food and water. I'm going to be gone like 6 days. That I'm not worried about. It gets pretty hot in this old ass fucking house. Yeah, so that's what I'm worried about. Leave her, someone checking on her because of the fucking heat.
Fair enough.
Like it's 80 degrees in this motherfucker now. Can I just turn the air off right before we went live? I'm fucking dying over here.
It's getting warm, yeah. Gang, thanks for watching. As always, thanks for chiming in with your thoughts and opinions about the Boogeyman. I'm glad so many of you got to see it before we got to review it this time around. I'm glad
it just came out.
Glad you guys are like actually doing the homework like we do every week. We appreciate it because it's always better to talk with you guys when you have seen it most of the time.
Yeah, we're not ruining it for everybody.
Right. I always feel bad, even though you guys are always like, we don't care about spoilers, blah, 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 blah. I always feel bad about it. Next week, we are going to be having, we're basically doing kind of a Morgue and Crypt in Albuquerque preview. We're going to have a couple of vendors on that are going to be spotlighted out there in at Morgue and Crypt, and hopefully a couple of cosplayers. So we're still waiting to confirm everybody, but we got at least 2 vendors already and 1 cosplayer. Hoping to get a couple more, but that's what we're talking about next week, and it's going to be a lot of fun, I think. It's kind of a different...
Lots of interactions with the Morgue and Crypt people as we get closer to July, and great people involved with it, and it's we're going to do what we can, get some people in the doors.
Yep. And then in 2 weeks, we'll be doing a review of The Blackening, which is another film I'm, in a strange way, really looking forward to because it looks so fun.
It looks fun. It looks funny as hell.
Yeah.
It does look funny.
So,
but it's also a great metal album by the band Machine Head from 2010. Yeah.
okay.
Then if you change The Blackening to just Blackened, it's a great intro song for Metallica's Injustice for All.
It's also a great adjective for chicken, you know, if you change it to blackened. So, anyway. Now you guys got me hungry. Assholes.
Right.
I'm going to go get something to eat. Everybody else, tune in next week. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Right. Woo!
Just in the middle of a dream, I was kissing Valentino by a crystal blue Italian stream. But I can't be late, cause then I guess I just won't get paid. These are the days when you wish your bed was already made. It's just another manic Monday. It was Sunday, 'cause that's my fun day. I don't have to run late. It's just another manic Monday. I wish it was Sunday, 'cause that's my fun day. It's just another manic Monday.
In this house,